In June 2022, Mayra made history as the first Mexican-born woman elected to the United States House of Representatives, representing Texas' 34th Congressional District. During her tenure, she served on the Homeland Security and Agricultural Committees, advocating for border security, agriculture, and South Texas families. Following Congress, Mayra became a senior advisor at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, championing school choice, family empowerment, and economic opportunity statewide. A devoted mother, Mayra remains committed to securing a brighter future for the children of South Texas so they too can thrive. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, and now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Ellie Torres.
You know, the secret is that when I turned 25, I started to wear these. Yeah, right, 25. Not with 8 grandchildren, right? It's truly an honor to be here this evening with such wonderful, powerful women. Thank you so much to the HWNT organization for inviting me to moderate. I will tell you that I may take a cough here and there. I've got cough drops in my mouth as we speak. I get coughing spells, so please pardon me, but I made a commitment, and I am here to fulfill my commitment as the moderator. So we will get started this evening. So good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, Rio Grande Valley Chapter, welcome to Women in Politics Dinner Forum. Thank you for joining us for what promises to be a meaningful and informative evening. Tonight is not about endorsements. It is not about party lines, and it is not about debate. Tonight is about civic engagement. We are here to provide a platform where female candidates seeking public office can share their vision, priorities, and commitment to the communities they hope to serve. Our goal is simple: to create space for informed decision-making and respectful dialogue. The Hispanic Women's Network of Texas is a nonpartisan organization committed to developing leaders, supporting professional growth, and strengthening our communities. Hosting forums like this reflects that commitment. We are honored to have candidates representing city, county, state, and federal offices with us this evening. Each of these women has stepped forward to serve, and regardless of political affiliation, that willingness deserves recognition. So here's how tonight will proceed. Candidates are seated from local to federal office. I will ask the same question to each candidate in order. Each candidate will have 60 to 90 seconds per question. There will be no rebuttals. We ask the audience to remain respectful and hold applause until the end of each round. Our purpose is clarity, not confrontation. Our goal is information, not persuasion. So, before we begin, I would like to thank each candidate for participating. Running for office requires courage, resilience, and commitment. We appreciate your willingness to engage in this conversation. Now let's begin. Here are the candidate questions. Our first question for all candidates, and I will repeat, if you need me to repeat the questions, that's come down to you. I'll start over here with Ms. Villarreal, correct? For the office you are seeking, what is the most important responsibility voters may not fully understand, and how will you execute it effectively? And the ladies will be taking you the microphone. And I do believe we have a timekeeper. Do we have a timekeeper that would let them know when there's 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, and time? Just to be respectful of everyone's time. Esmeralda, do we have a timekeeper?
Yeah, there's definitely.
Okay. Can you, oh, there you go. There she is. That's where you'll be looking for your time. Okay.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Felida. I am running for McAllen City Commissioner of District 5. And one of the biggest responsibilities, I think, for the City Commissioner is really to understand the role that commissioners play in the long-term development and growth of a city. Oftentimes, as voters, we have day-to-day activities and things that impact our day-to-day life, which are just as important, but I think equally important is understanding that as a commission, as city leadership, we have a role and a responsibility to look out for the best interests of the city for the next 10, 20, and 30 years. And so part of my platform encompasses 5 key priorities, which include economic development, infrastructure investment, public safety, fiscal responsibility, and community engagement. And with those priorities, I believe that our city can continue on a positive trajectory for continued growth and economic prosperity.
Thank you. Okay, our next candidate, Ms. Princess.
Hello, my name is Princess Peña. I'm running for Hidalgo County Treasurer. I don't think voters fully understand because only a quarter of the population vote in our primaries. But this county has been run by one-party system for 100+ years. This position has never been held by a Republican, so the responsibility of the treasurer is to safeguard your taxes, is to be a hawk on where the money is coming from and where it's going. You should have confidence in me as someone that is not part of this go along and get along party. I'm going to make everything transparent, everything aligned for you to be able to see where your tax dollars are going. That is my promise to you. As the first Republic County elected county government official, I will safeguard your taxes to the penny. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Leo, do you need the question repeated?
No. But just excuse me for a minute, I'm a little hoarse. What many voters are not aware of that in addition to safeguarding the funds, the county treasurer also serves as the investment officer for the county. I don't just safeguard funds, we manage liquidity and investments that the county depends on to fund payroll, vendor payments, and daily operations at the county level, at our county offices. I manage this investments with a safety-first strategy so that tax dollars are very well protected while at the same time earning strong returns.
Thank you. Ms. De Leon?
My name is Maricela de Leon, and I am seeking to be your next Hidalgo County District Clerk. As a former court coordinator for the 476 District Court under Judge Ismael Fonseca, I saw firsthand how critical jury panels are to the administration of justice. When jurors are not available, trials are delayed, victims wait longer, defendants remain in limbo, and our courts lose efficiency. The District Clerk's Office plays a central operational role in the jury impanelment process, and that responsibility must be managed with precision and urgency. In a county approaching 1 million residents, a shortage of jurors should never be an obstacle to justice. I'm committed to ensuring timely and clear jury summons notifications so residents can properly coordinate work and family obligations. Proactive communications reduces no-shows and increases compliance. I will also engage directly with local employers to reinforce the legal and civic importance of jury service, ensuring they understand their role in supporting employees who are called to serve. Additionally, I will promote public service awareness, efforts to eliminate the stigma around jury duty, and reframe it as what it truly is, a constitutional responsibility and a cornerstone of our judicial system. Justice requires participation. As district clerk, I will take that participation efficient, informed, and respected.
Ms. Perez?
Good evening. I'm Catherine Garcia Perez, and I'm running to be the next judge for County Court at Law number 4. One of the issues that I think voters may not have a full grasp of that we hear generally is efficiency. And I want to take a moment to speak about efficiency because that is what affects most people in this court. As a litigator who's practiced over 20 years, standing next to the people in front of that bench, I understand the importance of swift justice and timely decisions. Whenever justice is delayed, it is denied. And that has happened. There's problems in this court where there's many people waiting on those decisions. It causes stress. They're not receiving the things that they need to receive in their answers. And so how I intend to resolve that is to make those decisions, listen to the advocates that stand next to them, and make the difficult decisions that are sometimes put off so that they can receive the justice, efficiency can be had, the court can move forward and save in all matters, financially, stress, and compassion for these people. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lidia Elizondo, your candidate for Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney. I think one of the things that the community may not understand about the position of district attorney is that that office is tasked with making recommendations when individuals are charged with crimes. Now, you can go to the Hidalgo County Courthouse any day of the week, and you will see that there are a group of individuals whose clients get way better recommendations than anybody else. That will end the day that I get sworn in as your next district attorney. It will be equal justice, no exceptions. There shouldn't be a sliding scale based on who you are or who you know. That will come to an end. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I get 2 mics because it's just that much fun.
You wanna switch that one?
We can
switch. My name's Carrie Moore, and I'm running for the State Board of Education. I think what most people don't know about the State Board of Education, it's tasked with 3 main things, and that is the management of the permanent school fund. It's tasked with vetting curriculum and putting it on the rejected or accepted list, so districts don't have to go through so many curriculum. And it's also tasked with choosing who gets the permit to be charter schools. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is the extra work that goes in and the necessity to have boots on the ground and grassroots on the ground to understand what's really happening in our schools. Too often, we call our elected officials and they say, well, no, because of such and such law, that's not happening. Well, no, that's happening on the ground. That's something that I'm the only candidate that has. I've got grassroots throughout not just the state, but nationwide to understand the curriculum that may be happening in California, but it's not here yet. I've already got that on my radar because of all of the grassroots. So it's important to have that knowledge, to have knowledge of the law. I have a degree in paralegal studies, so I have helped craft legislation to protect our kids. And I have worked diligently with many organizations across the state of Texas to make sure that the laws that we pass are not only adequate, but fantastic. Thank you.
Ms. Churchill?
Good evening. My name's Vangela Churchill. I'm running for House District 40. And I just want to clarify something. I do believe in strong public schools, but I also believe in parent choice. And one of the most important responsibilities of this office is something that people don't often see. It's the work that happens after a law is passed. See, leadership is not just about opposing legislation. It's about making sure that the policies are implemented in ways that actually will help our community. For example, I'm working on my first piece of legislation. It's called the Texas Teaching and Learning Act that will affect classrooms, teachers, and students across our region. So my responsibility is to make sure that these policies actually translate into real support for educators and real results for families. With nearly 30 years in education, including time as an administrator, I understand how policy decisions impact classrooms on the ground. So I will execute this role by staying connected to our schools, meeting regularly with educators and community leaders, and working across party lines to solve problems. You see, effective leadership is about being present. It's about being accessible and about being focused on outcomes and not just politics. My goal is simple: to make sure that the decisions that are made at the state level truly serve the people here at home.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Hammond?
Thank you so much for having me here today. I love HWNT, and I've been a proud supporter for over a decade of this organization. So, what many people think state representatives only do policy. And at the end of the day, the most responsible thing that people don't see is that it's a translation. And what I mean by that is a state rep is the bridge between real life community impact and state level decision making. What does that mean? That translates policy on the ground for small businesses like mine trying to make payroll, for schools trying to navigate mandates without funding increases, and families balancing rising costs. Because of my background in the workforce, development, the skilled trades, and running a family business in this region, I've lived all of those realities. I've also served currently on 14 boards in state, in national roles, and here locally for our community. Maintaining direct, ongoing communication with local industries and educators, ensure policies reflect real workforce and economic needs, and make decisions made in Austin don't unintentionally hurt us. Being a rep is more than just writing policy. It's ensuring that policy works in everyday real life. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Silva?
Good evening. I'm Justice Clarissa Silva from the 13th Court of Appeals. I was elected in 2020, and it has been my honor to serve you. Growing up, my family taught me the importance of helping others without the expectation of receiving anything else in return. I chose a career in public service where I could do the greatest impact, and that was working with children and families in South Texas. As a former prosecutor, I handled juvenile matters, child protective service cases, as well as the abuse and exploitation of the elderly and the disabled. Serving on the court has been an honor, and I would appreciate your support in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores.
I'm Congresswoman Mayra Flores, and I became the first Mexican-born Congresswoman ever elected in history in 2022. And I am running for Congress to retake back Texas District 34 and finish what we started back in 2021. I believe these positions are for the everyday American that understands the struggle, what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. For a long time, we were told that these positions were only for certain people, and I'm here to tell you that within 24 hours of getting sworn in, I was like, wait a minute, how did they get here? Because at first I was like, what am I gonna do? How did I get here? And then I was like, how did these people get elected? We have been manipulated and told that women like us cannot be in these positions. I was told that, how are you gonna be a mom and a congresswoman at the same time? Well, the same way a congressman can be a congressman and a father at the same time. And we do need more women in local, state, and federal from both sides. I believe that one of the reasons why we have such poor health care for women is because not enough women from both sides, on the left and the right, are sitting in these important tables in Austin, in Washington. I believe that if more of us, Democrat, Republican women, would sit down, I guarantee you that we have a lot more in common. The problem is that we've been told to not talk to each other. And I know the media, social media, TV has a lot to do with that, but I want to encourage all of you to screw that. We need to start having a conversation, because at the end of the day, we're all women, we're mothers, we want what's best for ourselves, we want what's best for our children. So I just want to encourage y'all to start having a real conversation from people that you necessarily don't agree with, and you'll be surprised what you're going to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them all a big round of applause as we come to the end of question number 1. Okay, we will begin again over here with Ms. Villarreal with question number 2. If elected or re-elected, what specific measurable outcome do you commit to achieving in your first year in office?
If elected, one of my key priorities is fiscal responsibility, and as a CPA, that is something that is very near and dear to my heart. Promoting financial transparency and accountability, making sure that our taxpayer dollars are invested wisely and effectively. Not only that, but I think equally important as a commissioner is to be proactive in securing additional resources to make investments in infrastructure and public safety investments. And coming from a nonprofit sector and having experience with grant research, grant writing, grant reporting, that is something that I also hope to bring to the table at the City Commission to secure additional grant funding opportunities for our city and lessen the burden of our taxpayer dollars. In addition to that, I come from a workforce development background, right? I lead a nonprofit that is heavily invested in promoting higher education opportunities across our region. And so if elected, I will continue to prioritize economic development for our city, making sure that businesses and industries come into our city, but equally important that our residents are equipped with the necessary skills preparation, and education opportunities to secure these high-demand, high-wage jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Peña?
I want to build on what I said earlier. I plan to create a public website portal. On that portal, you will be able to see every dollar comes from and where every dollar goes. That includes contracts, spending, tax dollars, and taxpayers deserve transparency. You deserve to understand where your money is going. And that is my promise. I also believe in stability in the office. That means continuation of service. If you work under Ms. Leo, you get to keep your job. The people who work in the treasurer office are hard workers. They're providing for their families. I am not coming in to take jobs away. I am coming in to strengthen the office, support the staff, and serve Hidalgo County with stability and professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Leo?
Hello, good evening. So, what my priority will be when I'm first reelected is to continue to complete and stabilize our financial, payroll, and timekeeping system. Yes, we've been in this process. We are one of the largest counties in the state of Texas, and we've been a little bit slow with our technology, but we are getting there. Government kind of moves slow sometimes, it happens. However, we have been working, my staff and I, we've been working on this for the past year, and by the way, thank you. I have a great staff. They deserve to stay here a long time, especially as it's mentioned. It's just completing the system. We are still doing a bit of manual work, and with over 3,000 employees at the county, that can lead to errors sometimes. It hasn't. We've been pretty good with that. However, a centralized automated system will increase transparency at the county, as well as, I just went blank, but that's my goal.
Thank you, Ms. Leo. Ms. Leon?
As I previously mentioned regarding the role of jurors, I am committed to bringing awareness to a process that too many people try to avoid or seek exemption from. Jury service is not optional. It is required by statute. It is a civic responsibility that safeguards the constitutional rights of every individual who enters our court system. As someone who values the rule of law and understands operational systems, I will implement a streamlined jury impanelment process that ensures impanelment requests are coordinated efficiently and fulfilled on time. Hidalgo County has 13 district courts, 9 county courts, 1 probate court, 21 courts that depend on a reliable and properly managed jury pool. Any disruption affects case flow, trial settings, and public confidence in our judiciary. Equally important is strengthening internal operations within the district clerk's office. I will focus on reducing employee turnover and preventing workplace apathy through structured in-house training and professional development. When staff are supported and well-trained, service remains consistent and professional. Efficient jury operations and stable staffing are not administrative details. They are essential components of uninterrupted justice. That is the level of leadership I will bring as your next Hidalgo County District Clerk.
Thank you. Ms. Perez?
My goal is simple. My goal is to work for you. This court hasn't been working for the people that have been appearing before it. It's been in the same hands for 30 years, and it's been said that no change is needed. And so my goal is very simple, to bring hard work, fairness, and efficiency that is sorely needed in this court. I've had the same promise since I started this journey, and I will keep that promise to every single person who appears before me and every single family that waits on the decisions before me. Regardless of who you are, who you supported, whether you voted for me, whether you contributed to my campaign, none of that will matter because it's not supposed to matter. My promise remains to each and every one of you that I will hand this court back to you and serve all of you as it should be. This court doesn't belong to one person or one family, it belongs to you. And so that's the goal during my first year, is to give this court back to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo?
Maricela, you're not the only one who needs her glasses when it's time to read sometimes. Okay. So our question is, what specific measurable outcome do we commit to achieving in our first year in office? I want to increase the number of victims of domestic violence who can come to the district attorney's office for help. Since I made it known that I was interested in running for district attorney here in Hidalgo County, a number of individuals in the community have come to me with their stories of being turned away by the district attorney's office, of being refused help by the district attorney's office, of being told that, sorry, we can't help you and you're just gonna have to go figure it out on your own. These are the stories that different individuals have contacted me about and have told me. I want that to change. I want the number of domestic violence victims who get help at the district attorney's office to increase. I want more support. I want to help them regain their dignity. I want to help them move forward. I want to help them escape from the violence that has affected their lives and has ravaged their peace. I want to bring them peace. I want to give them help, and I want to make sure that each one is heard, and more importantly, that each one is helped. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Moore?
So the two tangible things for sure are, first of all, right now only 45 cents of every dollar for education is allotted to the classroom. And a lot of that does not get to the classroom, it goes to bloated administration, and some of which are already getting six-figure salaries and never see a kid. So I want to make that 65 cents of every dollar goes to the classroom. And I want to make sure it goes to classroom, to the teachers' salaries, to supplies, so teachers are not buying their own supplies anymore, and to teacher technology. The second thing I want to do is a 20 by 30, and that's a hard cap on our elementary school size classrooms. Right now, there is a cap that's 20 kids in a classroom in elementary school, but almost a quarter of our schools get waivers for that. So when you're looking at 30 or 35 elementary school kids, that's not a classroom, that's crowd control. Unacceptable. So those are two things you can really, really measure. The third thing is we have now created an Office of Inspector General who is to investigate waste, fraud, and abuse, both fiscal and physical abuses that are in our schools. And so the third one may not be able to be counted yet because we're just not sure, but I did a 3-year study on some of the physical and sexual assault that's going on in our schools by adults on to children. And so it's to work with the Office of Inspector General and ensure that that is cut down, and the fiscal abuse at our school district level is astronomical, so I want that to come down as well.
Thank you. Ms. Churchill?
So in my first year, I want constituents to see measurable results in 3 different areas: access, education, and infrastructure. First, access, because I've heard from many residents, especially like in the small town of Elsa, they feel that they haven't always had consistent access to their representative. So one of my first commitments will be to hold regular community office hours throughout the district, and that way residents know that they can speak with me directly about their concern. My goal is to host listening sessions across our communities in the first year and ensure that no city ever feels overlooked. Second, in education, with my 30 years of experience in education, I will stay closely engaged with our schools as they implement new policies and testing mandates. I will meet regularly with teachers, administrators, and parents and provide public updates on how state policy is impacting classrooms and what support is needed to help students succeed. And third, and lastly, is infrastructure. So while education is a priority, I can't lose sight of the very real concern that our families have about water, drainage, and infrastructure. See, in my first year, I will work with local and state partners to identify priority infrastructure needs in our communities and across the district to make sure that those needs are being elevated and that they're being addressed at the state level. And then I want to report back publicly on the progress so that residents know that their voices are being heard. At the end of the first year, I want constituents to be able to say, she showed up in our community like I showed up here today. She listened to us and she worked to move our priorities forward.
Thank you. Ms. Hammond?
I have a 100-day contract on my website that talks about how I will vote, what I am going to be looking at, and a 100-day action plan. I'm very much into the skilled trades. It's a passion of mine. we need to do more than just have conversations. We need to have collaboration between the school districts and the workforce. I was at a technical college in Brownsville this past week talking to the RGV partnership group. And we were talking about how the workforce is actually EDC, it's economic development. Because if we don't have a strong workforce, how in the world can we have better structure? So that's gonna be one of my big priorities, along with lowering property taxes, helping secure the border, and making sure that our constituents are being heard. I am here to listen, I listen with empathy, and I will listen to every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Silva?
Yes. Prior to serving on the bench, as you heard, I handled the hard cases. And sometimes the hard cases are worth doing. The trauma I witnessed, the injustices, I believe shaped me to be a better attorney and today a better judge. I've authored more than 500 opinions while serving you. In court, I'm going to keep doing the work, reading every line, asking the hard questions, and writing opinions that are grounded in text. I'll continue to maintain and enforce high standards of conduct so that the integrity and independence of the judiciary is preserved. I'll keep treating every person with respect, and I'll keep my oath. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Flores?
In my time of Congress, I introduced a bill, very important bill. Most of us here are mothers, and our kids are our engine. I don't know about y'all, but without them, I just can't function. And in my time in Congress, I was inspired to write the RGV Act, Reduce Gun Violence, after the Uvalde shooting. I believe that at the local, at the state, and at the federal level, we're not doing enough to keep our children safe. And I want to reintroduce this bill. It's not millions, it's billions of dollars making sure that every single school is safe for our children. God forbid that happens again. I do not believe that we're doing enough for our children. Our banks are more secured than our schools, and that shouldn't happen. Again, all of us here are mothers, and we need to really unite on both sides, at the local level, at the state level, in making sure every school has top security, is secure, and that no one can go into that school and hurt your child, hurt your wife, your husband working in that school. So my goal is to reintroduce the RGV Act, and I have bipartisan support in my time. I had bipartisan support. I 100% sure that we'll be able to get both sides, because this should not be political. Both sides want our children to be safe at schools, and that's really my passion. And another one, of course, bringing good paying jobs to South Texas, so our children, grandchildren do not have to leave South Texas for better opportunities and accomplish the American dream here in the RGV. Thank you.
Thank you. A big round of applause for all our ladies. I do want to recognize our Congresswoman, Monica de la Cruz, who has joined us here this evening. Thank you, Congresswoman, for being here this evening. We will proceed with question number 3. And again, we'll start with Ms. Villarreal. In a politically diverse region, how will you represent and serve constituents who may not share your political affiliation?
So I'm running for McAllen City Commissioner District 5, and this is a non-partisan race, right? So it is about serving all of the people, regardless of their background, regardless of their party affiliation. I am here to represent the voices of Republicans, Democrats, Independents. I believe that strong leadership starts with listening, and since day one of this campaign, I've made it a priority to be a commissioner that is approachable and accessible. Almost all of my campaign materials have my direct cell phone number, and that is because I want to hear directly from each and every one of you, the residents, the business owners in the district. I want to understand what your challenges are, what your priorities, to make sure that your voice is being represented at the decision-making table. And so my commitment to all of you is that I will be that commissioner that is accessible and approachable and looking out for the best interests of everyone who lives in this district.
Thank you. Ms. Peña?
Here's the truth. People don't like paying too much in taxes. Families work hard for their money. In Hidalgo County, we just can't keep spending and expect things to get better. We are one of the highest property tax large counties in Texas, and that affects our family. We need taxpayers to be partners in this business. In order for that to happen, they have to have full access to the book, full transparency, and full buying by our taxpayers. They are neither red, blue, or between. They are Americans. My promise to you, if we are ever in a budget surplus, I will advocate for that money to go back to you and the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Leo?
Yes, so of course, I am a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, I'm loyal to my party. However, as a county treasurer, I am loyal to the people of Hidalgo County, and so there is no politics involved in the decisions I make on a daily basis. We are here to protect the taxpayer money, to pay my employees on a timely basis, which we have been doing for the past 7 years. Whether you're red, blue, or yellow, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna delay a payment on that, based on that. So my commitment is to the taxpayers. My constituents deserve respect from me, because I am their elected official, whether they voted for me or not. So that is my promise.
Thank you. Ms. De Leon?
In a politically diverse region, public service must rise above party affiliation. I've been a public servant since the age of 19, beginning in the Texas legislature as an intern, advancing to chief of staff, and later serving within our Hidalgo County Judicial District Court as a court coordinator. In every role, the expectation was the same: to serve the public with integrity. Doing the right thing is not about politics. It is about fairness, transparency, and accountability. Our region is binational, bicultural, and economically diverse. The people conducting business in our courthouse come from different political perspectives, backgrounds, and life experiences. But what they all expect is equal treatment under the law. As district clerk, my duty is administrative and ministerial. It is to safeguard court records, ensure procedural accuracy, and support the judiciary without bias. I am mindful of time, resources, operational efficiency, because effective systems protect everyone equally. My personal political views are secondary to the oath of office. What matters is integrity and execution, consistency in service, and commitment to fairness for every constituent who walks through the courthouse doors.
Thank you. Ms. Perez?
I will serve all of you exactly the way I have been for over 2 decades. To my clients, I had a responsibility to represent each of those clients' interests to the best of my ability, regardless of my own opinions. In fact, I can tell you for 20 years, I don't think I've ever asked one of my clients what their political affiliation actually was. I can't tell you one of them unless they were a personal friend who happened to discuss it with me. And so I would sit on the bench the same way. Why? Because the bench requires that. There's a story that I like to tell about the black robe that we put on as judges. That black robe is not a robe of royalty. It's not a robe that signifies that we're above anyone else. In fact, the reason that they're all the same and that they're supposed to be all black with no personal pieces added to it is because we're supposed to strip of ourselves when we sit on that bench and listen impartially to everyone before us before we make our decisions. And so, while I do have to tell you, because it would be irresponsible not to tell you how to vote for me, I am on the Democratic primary ticket. It is the only way you can vote for me. I will tell you that none of that is supposed to come into play once I'm sitting on that bench. It hasn't come into play in any of my 20 years of practice, and it won't be in the future. I will serve you all equally, fairly, and impartially. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo?
Thank you. So my party affiliation is Republican. I am a Republican candidate for the Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney position. And how I will represent the constituents who don't have the same party affiliation as me is simple. You don't have to have the same political affiliation in order to prosecute crime. Every single person who commits a crime should be prosecuted in the same fashion, and the same consequences should exist for the same crimes committed by individuals. So if somebody is charged with DWI and their neighbor gets charged with DWI, it should be pretty clear what their sentences are going to be. Red, blue, purple, I don't care what your party affiliation is. If you commit a crime, you will be prosecuted and you will be treated just like everybody else who is charged with the same crime. That is my promise to you. That is my promise to everybody in Hidalgo County. You will have a district attorney you can trust. Equal justice, no exceptions.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Moore.
So the State Board of Education is 14 counties, so it comes all the way Hidalgo, Cameron, then it goes all the way up to Wharton, Jackson, and Matagorda. That's a lot of different people and a lot of different ideas. But having represented people from all over the state of Texas, you come to find out that life literacy and subject literacy is not a red or a blue issue, it's a red, white, and blue issue. We all want our children to be literate, not just in reading and writing, but in life skills, and be able to become adults that are self-sufficient and can balance a budget and can change a tire. So that's not a party issue at all, and I think most of the things in education are not party issues at all. Having worked with so many people across the state, I have people all the time that will call me and say, I have somebody and she only speaks Spanish, can you help her? And they will translate, and I will go down there. Having worked for a congressman that I was covering 6 counties, I'm used to traveling. I love this drive all the way down here, 2.5 hours. Doesn't bother me a bit. But it's about keeping your eyes and ears on the ground and having other people that have their eyes and ears on the ground. So I think as long as we can do that, there's no question about who you voted for. I probably didn't vote for whoever you voted for, and we're probably in the same party. So that it just has nothing to do with what we need to do for our children in our education system in Texas.
Thank you. Ms. Churchill?
So, yes, we are a politically diverse area, but our needs are shared. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. In fact, we all want our communities to be heard. We all want strong schools for our children. We all want safe water, reliable infrastructure, and opportunities for our families to thrive. But no matter if somebody lives in this district or in any of the surrounding communities, they should and they deserve to feel seen and represented. So my commitment is simple. I will show up and I will listen and I will make sure that every community has a voice. Because as an educator, sitting in the classroom or even as an administrator, I've had to work with families of all different backgrounds, every political viewpoint, it didn't matter. And that experience has taught me that respect and communication build trust. And when we focus on what we all want, like good schools and strong infrastructure, safe communities and opportunity, we will find that we have more common ground than division. So it doesn't matter whether someone's a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. My responsibility is always going to be the same, to represent everyone with fairness, accessibility, and a willingness to listen, because representation isn't about politics, it's about people.
Thank you, Ms. Churchill. Next, we have Ms. Hammond.
Thank you. I have always led with love. I was raised in the Bible, and I was raised that the definition of God is love. And when you lead people with love, then you just lead people. There's no affiliations, there's no parties. You're not electing me to be a dictator. You're electing me to listen. I've served on several boards as chair, leading these boards. And I don't lead with my opinion. I lead with what's best for the membership of that organization. Whether it's the Hispanic chair, whether it's the partnership board, whether it's the Better Business Bureau, whether it's skilled trade work, whether it's women in HVAC, it does not matter. What matters is what's best for the organization. When I am elected, I will do what is best for this district, just like I have been doing decade after decade, serving donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to my community. Now the state is gonna give it to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Silva?
So the 13th Court of Appeals sits and hears cases in both Edinburgh and Corpus Christi. We review civil and criminal matters from 20 different South Texas counties. We're not flashy, we don't hold press conferences, we often don't even make the headlines. We write our opinions quietly and carefully that have a real impact on people's lives. On the bench, you have to carry that public servant's heart. We come prepared, we treat people with dignity, we don't play any favorites, and you apply the law faithfully and fairly, so every person, no matter their background or zip code, gets a fair shake. Remember, 6 justices, 2 courthouses, 1 mission. To apply the law as written and deliver justice without fear or favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Flores?
Well, I am a proud conservative, and in order to vote for me, you do have to ask for a Republican ballot in Texas District 34. It includes Cameron County, Willacy, Kennedy, Clayburgh, and Oasis County now after the redistricting. But in my time of Congress and when I win this re-election, we serve all people. It doesn't matter. Once we're in the position, we're here to serve, no party affiliation. We're here to serve the people that elected us to be in that position. But having said that, it is important that all of you actually look at the policies. Do not vote for someone that you like, because at the end of the day, it's the policies that are going to impact you, that are going to impact your pocket. So a lot of times, people vote for the person that they like, but they didn't really have the right policies that were going to benefit you, your community, your children. So it's important that you look at their policies, because at the end of the day, policy matters because people matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give these ladies all a round of applause as we come to the end of our third round of questions. As we come to the close of this evening, I want to begin by thanking each of our candidates that were here tonight. Public service is not easy. Campaigning is definitely not easy. And putting yourself forward for leadership, especially as a woman, requires courage. Tonight, we did not gather to debate. We gathered to listen, to learn, and to better understand the individuals who are seeking to serve our communities at the city, county, state, and federal levels. No matter where we fall politically, we share something important in common. We care deeply about the future of our region, and we are all Americans. The Rio Grande Valley deserves informed voters, it deserves engaged citizens, and it deserves leaders who are prepared to serve with integrity. To our candidates, thank you for stepping forward. To our audience, your presence here tonight matters. Civic engagement does not begin and end on election day. It begins with conversations like this. And to the next generation watching, whether in this room or beyond, tonight demonstrates something powerful. Women belong in leadership. Women belong at decision-making tables, and women belong in every space where the future is being shaped. On behalf of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, Rio Grande Valley Chapter, thank you for joining us, thank you for engaging respectfully, and thank you for being part of a community that believes informed participation strengthens democracy. Have a safe evening, and most importantly, stay engaged. And don't forget to go out and vote. I already did.